10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack Attack. Today is April 13th, and happy fork, day after fork, everyone. Congratulations on a hugely successful Shapella upgrade. It was absolutely amazing to see that it went through, to be involved in that whole process. Absolutely wonderful. Shout out to the Ethereum core devs. Shout out to the Rocket Pool team for making sure things went through without hitch. Shout out to people like Fizz and Nixo and Logic Beach and other amazing people like ETH Staker who set up an amazing call, and people at POAP. Everyone who's involved, truly absolutely amazing. Really wonderful experience for me. I can't believe I got to share a Zoom call with Vitalik. I think I was like dying. It was really wonderful. But I just got a couple of tweets to cover that. So first of all, we got this tweet from DC Investors saying congrats to all the Ethereum devs who worked tirelessly to get us urgently off proof of work and then to get us staked ETH withdrawals, all while ensuring the security and smooth operation of a chain securing hundreds of billions of dollars worth of assets. Respect. So that, of course, is huge shout out to everyone involved in getting that to us. And of course, I got my guy Jasper here, who's saying congratulations on the successful hard fork. So Jasper's sentiments, my sentiments, exactly wonderful to see, and like covering Jasper in the episode, so that's why I got that there. Okay, so oh wait, that's not the right link. Let me see what's supposed to be there. Oh, here it is. Sorry. So right now we got some breakdown of the exit queue, because of course the main thing that came with the Shapella upgrade, Shanghai Capella upgrade, was that withdrawals were enabled on staking, and we've got a breakdown here that 80% of the people waiting to be withdrawn are Kraken, and they were withdrawing funds that were allocated to the US investors. So we knew that was going to be a fairly sizable chunk. However, it seems like that's just a couple of 100,000 ETH. Numbers are changing quite quickly, and last I saw there was about 300,000 ETH being withdrawn. So that excuse me, that will be going to Kraken stakers, and it's likely that they'll carry on staking, and I hope that they will carry on staking with services like Rocket Pool instead. As you can see, comparatively 0.4% of the exit queue is due to Rocket Pool, which is a handful of nodes, a handful of validators, which is fantastic. So a lot of people are watching the exit queues right now. There's Dune dashboards that have been set up for that. I didn't have any prepared for you all, so I'm sorry about that. But it might be something that we can look at more in the next couple of days, just to get an idea of where we stand. But it seems like that Kraken withdrawal is one of the big withdrawals, and after that, there's not that much going into the exit queue. I might be mistaken, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on that. So one of the things that happened during the call, of course, was that we got the Ethereum mainnet Shapella fork livestream POAP, which was distributed by the ETH Staker crew. This POAP costs $3, I think, and it has its own website, shapella.info. If you want to go and mint that yourself, you're still able to. It'll last for 24 hours after the fork. It's a nice POAP, and it's already been minted by over 2,800 people, which is really wonderful. Another thing that happened yesterday that I took part in, and I actually was on the live stream for this as well, thanks to Logic Beach and Fizz, is the, you can just about see it on the screen, is the canvas pixel art party for the canvas. There's some really good representation of Rocket Pool right here on the top left corner. There's even some like Schifrin's name is up there, and Joe's name is there, Dukey's name is there, so that's really great to see. Vaka's kind of hiding on the left, and then we've got this like right here in the skyline of Shanghai, we've got a Bankless, and right above it we've got the Rocket Pool logo, which is really cool too. Something that I'm really proud of, and that I couldn't have done without help of other people, is this section right here in the middle, where it says wackattack.eth. I think by pixel count, it's like one of the biggest, well, it's I think the biggest individual piece on the whole thing. With like all the other big ones are kind of like teams and communities. Like, we've got the ETH Finance, EV Maverick there, and like Bankless, and these are all communities. But for me to have this, I couldn't have done this without the help of some of the wonderful community members. So thank you if you supported me in getting wackwackattack.eth written across the front and center of this canvas. That was really cool. These 3 pixels, like right in the last seconds before it closed, someone did that, and I was watching the stream, so I missed it, so I couldn't defend it. So it's kind of ruined now, No, it's all good. Okay, so not all good things happened. It wasn't all good things after the fork. There were a few issues that were apparent right away. Joe says, attention everyone, now that Shapella has hit, you may see increased CPU network load as your node processes several tens of thousands of withdrawal credential changes and exit messages. That's expected, and it'll chill out once it processes them all, unless you're running Nimbus. Nimbus is chill. So there were already some warning signs coming through from people in the community talking about their nodes kind of getting hot, and people were sharing charts of their temperatures, kind of like RAM usage was spiking, and CPU temperatures were spiking as well, and people were kind of wondering what was going on. Wait, hold on. Yeah, so the CPU usage was going through the roof. Other people had temperature issues as well. So it turns out that there were a couple of issues that Joe then made announcements about. One was about Lighthouse, where there was a bug, and it was using like a whole lot of CPU. Of course, Lighthouse, I think, is the biggest client on the consensus side. So a lot of people were starting to get this bug. It seemed like it started to calm down a little bit, but then there was a strong recommendation to update to like a hotfix version where they fixed that. Then there were issues with Prism and MEV Boost. So if you were using MEV Boost, your Prism client was not proposing blocks, which meant that some blocks were missed, sadly. So they made a fix for that as well. And then later on, Joe gave information about the Prism update to fix the MEV Boost problems, because earlier on they were just telling people to turn off the MEV boost, but with that then there was updates coming out that would help you fix those things. So it seems like those are the 2 technical issues, and I don't think it really impacted all that many people. I think it was fairly contained, which is really wonderful to see that. So that's great. And next we had information about skimming coming through. Joe says, hey guys, guess what? I just got skimmed. So as you can see here, there's a screenshot of Joe's validator index, and is it active, and what are the percentages. So the beacon balance went down to 32 ETH. The Joe's portion went down to 16 ETH. So any rewards that he'd accrued since launching in November, he was able to skim that. So skimming works, which is wonderful. The first round of skimming seems to be going by really fast, because there were a whole lot of people in the first couple of 100,000 validators who didn't have their withdrawals credentials set up. If you don't have the withdrawal credentials set up, it doesn't skim you. You'll only get skimming after that happens, but that was definitely something to keep an eye on. Fizz says that we should make a rocket pool specific Atlas POAP. So Mao followed some of Fizz's instructions and made this rocket pool 18th of April for the Atlas upgrade. And then there's like a POAP there, which I think looks great. So I really like it, but maybe we'll use that for Atlas, for rocket pool. Okay, moving on from that, we started getting news yesterday, like pretty much right away, of people withdrawing, of course. But then Tom Wan over here had this post coming out saying validator merker.eth swapped 8 ETH from withdrawal via cow swap for 368 RPL. US dollar amount $15,205, first blood. So I got so happy when I saw this particular tweet, because I've been talking about solid validators converting to rocket pool, and in converting to rocket pool they can go to 3 LEB8s and use the remaining 8 ETH to swap for RPL to provide collateral for their node, right? So that was, I've been talking about that for a few weeks now. I argued about how that is a win-win-win. It's a win for the user because they're getting more rewards. It's a win for Rocket Pool because it helps lift more rETH and increases the TVL of Rocket Pool. It hardens the protocol, and then it's a win for Ethereum because instead of having 32 ETH of decentralization now from Merkle.eth, Merkle will instead have 96 ETH of decentralization and all that good stuff that comes with that. Of course, home solo staking is the gold standard, but there are a whole lot of benefits to switching to the 8 ETH, 3 LEB8s plus 8 ETH of RPL, and it seems like Merkle followed that advice. I don't know if he heard it from me or if it's just he came up with that himself. Of course, I'm sure he did come up with it himself, but it's really, I think, elegant and a really nice solution to things that could work. There was a nice little reply here from awalkade.art saying this is a great move to make if someone wants to invest long term in the future of the Ethereum blockchain. I did the same swap recently with my own tiny capital, besides from staking earlier with Stakewise and Lido. Don't know who is behind Merkle.eth as a validator. Good decision maker. So then we actually got this tweet. Oh wait, sorry. Oh wait, where did that go? Oh, here it is. We got this tweet that came later from Merkle.eth. He says a reply to that, and then he said, can confirm, more on the way. And Tom said, damn, thanks for the confirmation. Out of curiosity, would you mind sharing the reason for swapping the ETH reward? Planning on spinning a Rocket Pool validator node instead with RPL, or just an investment? And Merkle says, I have 10 nodes at Stakefish, which I'm exiting for Rocket Pool mini pools. Fine folks at Rocket Pool was super helpful in getting my own node running, gathering the required RPL to spin up the other LEB8 mini pools when Atlas launches next week. So this truly made me so happy that people are kind of making this move. And this is completely anecdotal. By the time next week comes around, Merkle might be the only person in the whole world who does this. But however, I really think that this is signs of really wonderful few weeks for Rocket Pool. I really think that, and I had that feeling last night when I saw this, and I was just like, you know what, this is now the time. When I kind of came across this idea, I thought that this was the time to really go forward with that, and yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. Okay, so moving on. Yesterday, of course, after Shapella went through, 6 hours later, we had the Rocket Pool's reward night. It happens, every 28 days on a Wednesday night, Thursday morning. And it was timed, well, it wasn't timed, of course it wasn't timed, but Atlas was timed such that it would happen after the first rewards period after Shapella. It just so happened to be that, Shapella was 6 hours before the rewards period, which was really good. Patches has been working on getting treegen done for a while, doing loads of optimizations, and right after the rewards period ended, the next reward period started, his tree generation, he says, man, I might come in under 15 minutes, which was absolutely amazing to see. Pateris almost there as well, doing super fast, using Patches' optimizations. And then Ken is running Patches' system on the Rocket Scientists node. So Rocket Scientists were first to get in, but look at this. Patches finished participation check, total time 15 minutes and 54 seconds. And this is down from multiple hours that we've been seeing recently. Pateris says, wow. Patches says, now we just need to see if it's correct. Of course, you got to compare it to other ODAO members. Buddha comes in and says, I'm also done. He was not also done. So Patches Joe says interval 8 speedrun world record, which was really amazing. Patches says I refuse to celebrate before it's confirmed. So then we got the 15%, and then Ken was able to submit the tree. Total time 19 minutes and 27 seconds, which of course they're still cheating. And then Patches is information lines up with Ken's, which Patches says here, at least we're self-consistent, which is good, but of course, you want it to be consistent with other people. And then Hodger, who had made the website about the game prediction game, says holy S, the rocket scientist came first, which is really amazing. And then Patches here starts confirming, because another hash matches Patches is Patches was really happy because the others started matching Patches' results. So it was really wonderful. I'm so happy for Patches, because that's like a huge vindication of the work that he's put into that. However, Joe gave us some news a little bit before about the treegen and what it might look like going forward. And Joe says, I'm happy to report that I got the green light to start working on what we're calling rolling trees, which means the watchtower progressively builds the trees as each epoch finalizes, instead of doing it all at once. So I know that, we've reached this great point with the tree generation now because of Patches' work. However, it might be that that kind of becomes redundant in a few months time, I guess. By the time it gets all coded out and worked on, it might take 3 or 4 months. But that's really cool that Joe is starting to work on those. He gives some more information as well, that this was made possible by the work that Patches, Valdorf, Noshua and friends put into Rewards Tree version 5. And then he says, my next big task is to do rolling trees. The good thing is that's pretty much gets posted immediately, 14 minutes after target epoch, because we have to wait for finality. So, it's all done like really, really quickly. And you can keep the reporting order game going. It's going to be a lot more down to chance, because it'll happen so quickly that it might be that, like there's a few seconds or minutes difference instead of like, the big kind of spread that you have now. But it will basically make the game a little bit less enjoyable, I think, but I'm sure it'll still be fun. Like, I don't really play the game, but for those of you who do, like, you can keep going. I guess who gets their transaction in first, but it might be a little bit more predictable after that period. So then Joe's giving some shout outs and then just explaining how the game could potentially keep going, so about how the finality comes along. So another thing happened yesterday that was kind of upsetting for people. The day before, of course, Blockchain Capital, we talked about it on Rocket Fuel about how they dumped 65,000 RPL. Well, yesterday they went in and they dumped the rest of it. So there was a bunch of large cells that came through right here, and then we got another couple as well right here as well, another 10,000 like chunks of 10,000 RPL. They were just dumping it, and the price, of course, did not react positively to that. However, at this point, then they were done. So they've all done with their RPL now. So there's no more dumps that are coming in from them. If you have a look at the chart, you can see that it kind of responded badly yesterday. Like it went, it had been recovering all day. Like, so we had this initial drop, from around 47, 48 kind of range down to 41 at the low, 41.94. And then we kind of spent all day slowly grinding back up to around 45. And then we crashed down again to 40.96. And then since then, thankfully, we've kind of been slowly grinding up again as well. So, I don't really talk about price that much, but these big cells, like they dumped, I think, over $4 million worth of RPL in total. Fair enough. Like, I wonder what was going on behind the scenes, but I guess we'll never know. Okay, next we've got information about an Etherfi Twitter space that they had with a whole bunch of people from the staking communities. So it was a Shapella upgrade, a liquid staking perspective, and in that you had Mara from Alluvial, Darren Langley, of course, from Rocket Pool, Ernie from Kiln, Jordan from Stakewise, and then Trevor shared some information about the call. I wasn't able to listen to it, and he said that they were talking in the call about how forced exits might be up to 2 years away. That's around 45 minutes and 30 seconds. Sadly, it's not like it's not as optimistic. We were around the Denver time when talk was going on that it might be included in next hard fork, the one that would include proto dunk sharding. Yeah, it's a shame, but I'm really hoping that we can get those forced exits, because that will be a huge help towards Rocket Pool's growth. Stakewise version 3, the person from there, Jordan, gave information about how they will get node operators to pre-sign exit messages as part of the enrollment process, so they can force exit validators until it's built into the protocol level. So that is definitely a way to do that. I think the people from NodeSet are, Nick and Wanda. I think they'll be following the same kind of path of having those pre-signed exit messages. There's issues around that as well, about who secures them, how they're managed, all that kind of stuff. If that information is captured, could you cause a mass unstaking event from those people? Those are security issues that I'm sure will be dealt with, but people are trying to think of ways to get around that stuff, so that is good. Okay, next we had this with this forum post from Dybsy. Dybsy, who is a HOP delegate and ambassador, I think. I'm not sure of his exact role, but I know that he's heavily involved in HOP governance. So he made this proposal for fast bridging support for rETH. So right now, if you want to bridge from mainnet to a layer 2, you have to go through the official bridges, and it's fine to go that way, but with the optimistic bridges, it's really difficult to come back. It can take up to 7 days. I think they're reducing that number to a lot shorter time, but right now I think it's still 7 days to bridge back through the official bridges. There are lots of bridge services, and HOP I think is the biggest bridge service. There's also Orbital and others, Orbit, something like that, and others who have bridge services as well. But fast bridge basically means that you will sign your transaction on the layer 2 and you'll have it on mainnet, within a matter of transactions. Normally they say within 5 minutes, but you can get it within 12 seconds, I guess, or 30 seconds. So here we had this post about fast bridging support for rETH, and then Dybsy added this information saying adding a liquid staking token to HOP's bridging support would be a huge competitive advantage for a protocol that is seeing more and more bridging alternatives appear. The Rocket Pool incentives would be lucrative given the nature and use of the token, which has a use case far greater than most other, if not all other governance tokens. Co-incentives are a reasonable and proper idea. To me, facilitating rETH bridging would be of great benefit to the HOP ecosystem with no downside. So this was there's a whole post that Dybsy wrote here about writing this on behalf of the Rocket Pool, and then saying he's not an elected ambassador at this point. I'm aware the genesis of this proposal and the work has gone into bridging the RFC stage, and I'm in support of this proposal and invite meaningful discussion below. So there was a summary of how it works and what the rationale is. So definitely give all that a read, and of course then there's a bit of a discussion that goes back and forth, but not that much discussion. But Jasper said, principal author of this proposal. I also serve on the incentive management committee for Rocket Pool, been a huge fan of HOP for years now, and I have LP'd on several chains. I love it when HOP team members pop up in the Rocket Pool Discord, as they've been known to do, and still hold my HOP tokens. I think the fact that HOP can be the first fast bridge to support LST is huge for all parties. Further, this will be rolling out alongside liquidity and ecosystem expansions on those chains to drive natural demand. I'm especially looking forward to the HOP version 2 bonders for permission and support. However, I hope this proposal can bridge us to that point in time. Happy to answer any questions. And then a couple of comments came in, one of them literally just now 1 minute ago, saying I would vote for this. Good alignment, specification seems fair, and 100% in favor of this. So this would actually be a huge quality of life improvement for people who want to bridge to layer 2s. I think it's really, really good. So thanks for that, Jasper, for putting together some of the work, and for Dybsy for sharing and putting work into that as well. So kudos to both of you and anyone else involved who I might be missing out on that. Okay, next we had this update from Sommelier Finance, who's saying rETH by Rocket Pool is now supported on Sommelier as one of the 3 major LSTs used in the real yield ETH vault. We look forward to vault creators on Sommelier discovering other creative ways to use rETH. So they're integrating rETH into their vault, which is really cool. And then there's a link to their app and how you can optimize your LSTs. And it says, note that real yield ETH and Sommelier vaults are not open to persons or citizens of the United States and other restricted countries. For more details, please refer to the Sommelier terms in use. And yeah, like you can see what's in there. The traded assets in that real yield ETH are ST-ETH from Lido, CB-ETH by Coinbase, and then rETH, of course, and then also wETH, like wrapped ETH. So yeah, give that a look. Of course, protocols are risky. You can lose what you put in. DeFi is risky. All that talk from Bankless that you hear on every episode. Please keep that in mind when interacting with any protocol. So talking about keeping things in mind, interacting with protocols, there's this post by there's this website by Euler called redemptions.euler.finance. You can go there now, enter your address, and start to get your money that was lost in the hack back. So of course, that was risky. Yep. So a whole nother kind of risk turned up today, and this is a risk that people have been talking about for quite a while, but it was thought that it was not possible or very unlikely. But one of the things was that I'm talking about is slashing for large service providers, especially Lido. So in Jasper's why paradigm was wrong, why rETH will flip ST-ETH, one of the things that he mentions in there is a slashing risk to Lido and how that is a huge potential factor for their service. So here today we got an update from Lido saying there are 11 slashings ongoing with Rock Logic GmbH node operator in Lido. Lido DAO contributors and Rock Logic are investigating. Currently the total projected impact is around 20 ETH or about 3% of average daily protocol rewards, or 0.0004% of TVL. So the amount of damage this does is not. Lido go on to explain. They said the issue seems to be contained and the root cause is under investigation. A full update will come later. So people have already started commenting about that, saying professional operators, hashtag, and rational actors. And then Jasper said, hey, Degen Spartans still feel comfy 100% in ST-ETH and centralization risk in action. So Jasper, of course, is one of the people amongst many others who've been talking about this kind of thing potentially happening for a long time. It's scary. This is a really, really, really scary event because each Lido node operator controls about 8,000 validators, which is, multiply that by 32, it's like 250,000 plus ETH that they control. I don't know how, what their setup is at Rock Logic, but in some world that potentially all could have been at risk of slashing, which would be disastrous. But this is a sign that problems can happen with services, and the more centralized the service is, the more likely is that something that this can happen on a catastrophic level. For example, 8,000 slashings at the same time. Of course, that is not what happened. There's just speculation about what that is, but I think this has a possibility of sending shockwaves through the LST space, and rightly so, I think, because this was something that, people in like Lido, people who were staking with Lido kind of made themselves believe that this kind of thing would never be possible, partly because of, their founder and people saying, we have professional node operators, this is a job for the professionals, that kind of stuff. Well, if a professional can get slashed for 11 validators, there's a chance that other professionals could get slashed for 11 validators too. And then having 3 plus, I think more than that, 5 million ETH, something like that, on 29 29 node operators is like extreme centralization that makes this kind of thing that much more positive. Much more likely, not positive. Excuse me. Much more likely. you have to be careful. I think now the fact that this has happened, hopefully, Lido will learn from this and set safeguards in place so this kind of thing can't happen again. As soon as we get details of what happened, I'll share it with you all. But in stark contrast, it just shows you about the complete difference between what has happened here with Lido and what happens with Rocket Pool, right? Like Rocket Pool has had 3 slashing so far. 3 people have lost 1 ETH each. That has come out of their own rewards, not out of any rETH holders. Like they have not been impacted 0%. So not 3% of daily rewards or anything like that. It's literally 0%. That's come out of the node operators. That kind of thing, because we have over 2,300 node operators, means that the compounding risk of multiple simultaneous slashing is very unlikely with Rocket Pool in a way that it's not with Lido. So I think that, this will be talked about a whole lot over the next few days. The news was really, really fresh as I started recording Rocket Fuel. So, we don't have any details or takes, but it's definitely, this has the potential of being the lead story in tomorrow's episode as we get more information about what's happened. So there's a whole lot still left to say about this that will be covered very, very soon. Next, we have this a couple of comments from Jasper and Waldorf talking about a new LST coming out of the Yearn protocol. Yearn, was huge in DeFi summer because they were providing yield for deposits of ETH, etc. And the compounding rewards and all that kind of stuff was going on. So they are starting their own LST, and this proposal here to launch that kind of follows the same path as Frax. There's a whole lot of bad stuff that's kind of happening or on the surface that's kind of happening in here. So Jasper and Waldorf talked about this back and forth for quite a while, talking about a lot of the risks that came with that, and some of the issues that were happening in that approach, right? And it's definitely go and read these comments back and forth to get an idea of what Waldorf and Jasper were talking about. But it seems like they're going the Frax route, and there's a lot of question marks about that as well. So they spent quite a while talking through the proposal back and forth and kind of sharing ideas. So go back and check those out, definitely. And then talking about Yearn, they had a hack yesterday as well for $10 million, and then there's this coin desk article about the hack as well. That's got nothing to do with the LST, but it just happened to coincide with the news that was coming out around that at the same kind of time. So on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. Again, it was absolutely wonderful. Shapella hard fork yesterday. I didn't miss any attestations, which I'm really happy about because the mainnet merge kind of hit me a little bit, but it was all good, and I'm really happy that everything went well yesterday. Congratulations once again to everyone who contributed to making that the success that it was. I'm really happy. I'm still kind of doing really well with that, and I'm now next site is Atlas, but I've got a few things that I'm doing before Atlas myself, and I'll be sharing that with you all before Atlas. But it's going to be a nice busy few days ahead. Anyway, I hope you all have a lovely Thursday, and I will see you all tomorrow.